Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Oh, the video was an unexpected bonus. There you go. So this is the second of our 3 program ones of these monthly Zoom calls. If there's a call, I'll continue them afterwards, but we can perhaps check in on that next month. What probably a good idea to do again is to start with a meditation again, like we did last time, and then see what's emerging for people, any questions and so forth that are coming up. So if you want to get yourselves ready, and just closing your eyes. And simply noticing what's here now. Simply, silently accepting all the phenomena here now. No judgment. Silently witnessing. Just like you're watching a movie from the inside. Watching, witnessing, and just like a sliver of ice in an ocean of water, dissolving, melting, becoming one with the ocean. And the ocean is an ocean of infinite silence. Infinite awareness. And this rarefied atmosphere of silence transforms, transmutes, dissolves all that you are not. Silently, effortlessly, in silence, you will realize truth. In truth, you will realize you are silence. Infinite silence. Now, being open to this inquiry inside, who am I without or before time? Who am I without or before time? And just resting in, through, and as this silent essence. Aware of your body. In a moment, I'll ring the tingsha bells. Aware of the space, aware of the chair, simply, silently aware. And when the moment is right for you, just gently opening your eyes. Good. So, how was that? Anything emerging there for anybody? That you'd like to share or ask?
Stefan would like to speak.
Okay.
Would you like to unmute yourself?
Yes, I got some messages here that said that everything is here now. And I could hear that was just talking about everything. And then I asked myself again, what am I without time? And I just got the words everything and everywhere. It was not an experience, it was more just the words just appeared there.
Good.
And they felt right.
Yeah, I felt a resonance with it. Yeah. Yeah, good. So that's good, because it comes back to this trusty fibre optic lamp metaphor that many you'll have seen many times. You think and believe that you are this point of light at the end here, which is the body-mind experience. But the whole meditative journey is about going down the fibre optic lamp and first recognizing the source of all the light, spheres of light as I call it, is at the base of the lamp here, and that's pure universal being, the state I am. That's not personal. And then the power source on the metaphor, which is at the base, is the battery, which is the infinite silence. But of course, the infinite silence is infinite, and it's actually everywhere. And it's this that gives birth to everything. But this in itself is no thing. It's unlimited. And it also gives birth in that process to space, time, form, being. So And that, another name for that infinite silence, which is everywhere, is awareness that's not personal. So, and yet without the physical experience of Stefan, this would not be able to come to know itself in its own experience, because there's nothing happening here, because there's no time, there's no space, there's no form, and there's no contrast. And because it's infinite, and it has therefore no limitations, everything, all of that which we call time, is here for it now. So the reason for the question about who am I without time is another way of entering or opening to that which is before and beyond time, the eternal now, which is in fact the infinite silence itself.
It was also a little odd that the past was also here now, and the future and everything.
Correct.
Here, right now.
Correct.
That was a little odd for the mind, but without time, everything is here now. It must be.
Indeed. And so we tend to think of time as a timeline, don't we? Past, future, now. But if I sort of turned that line 90 degrees and just said, actually, it's all here now. Bit like, I think I might have used this metaphor last time, I can't remember, but like a flicker book. All the images in the flicker book are there. You know, those old things before movies. And you just basically what we're doing with the experience of time is looking at different pages of the flicker book, but it's all there. It's all already in the book of the universe. So that's a great awareness, experiential awareness that's come there, that the mind goes, oh, the mind can't grasp it. Because it's basic, the mind is of linear time, whereas this is of no time or eternal. Is that okay for you, Stefan? Yeah. Thank you. So I think Ruth's got her hand up, has she? Yeah.
I think I got about the same thing, maybe came about it a little bit differently. When you first posed the question, initially I tried to think of if there was ever a time in my life as, you know, this person known as Ruth Ann, that there had ever been no time. And I thought, oh, maybe when I was a little baby or something. And I thought, no, I actually can't remember a time in my life where it's just, and I think this is just the human condition, you know, where people are seemingly rushed and impatient, and there's just always been that sense of time, even if I didn't have the word for it. And but then kind of right after that, it just popped in. I thought, well, it had to have been kind of before I was born, and it then Unborn came. Who am I without time? That's what came right after that was, well, Unborn, and then Eternal came in. So those are the two words that came in, but I kind of ended up backing into them.
That's good. No matter how you get there, it doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong path, but I like that. Unborn and eternal, because you become so identified with the body-mind experience through which there is birth and death. But the word that you got, the first word, was unborn. And that's true, because that's what the essence is, the source is. It's unborn. It was never born, and it will never die. and it's before and beyond the experience of time. It's unbound by time, and therefore it's also eternal. That is the eternal now. So mind tried to analyze it, but then kind of like there was a moment of, what you want to call it, surrender or acceptance or whatever, and then you, out of nowhere, it seems, these two words pop, and those you can trust. Those you can trust. So the unborn silence, the unborn awareness. Makes sense, Ruth? You happy with that?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Thank you. And I like Unbound as well. That resonates. So thank you for that also.
Good, you're welcome. So the other, I'll go see if anybody else wants to say anything first before I go to what I was about to go to. I think somebody else had their hand up. You're all moving around the screen. You're like, like the stairs do in Hogwarts on Harry Potter.
What happens if we pin you, Philip?
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, I think you can pin me, but I think I'm stable in the middle at the moment. But
No, you're around for me.
Oh right, okay. I'll try and pin myself then.
Nicole. Yeah. Nicole's got a hand up when you want to go for that.
I've pinned myself.
This should be fairly quick. We'll see. Basically, what came up was I think the ego's scared that this piece is kind of vegetative and boring. And so what came up for me is like, no, this piece is very much aliveness, like this buzzing to it. Like when we're in that meditation, there's this buzzing aliveness to it, if that's a word that I can use, those words.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So when you said peace, did you mean P-E-A-C-E, peace?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, good, okay. So yeah, so that's interesting because it will find all sorts of reasons, the identity, to move away from peace, stillness, silence, and the reason it does that ultimately is because it fears its demise. So it will use every excuse in the book, every dodge and every duck and dive and bob and weave, and a few that aren't in the book as well. But the thing is, the awareness sees it all. And that there is a totality, as you say, to that aliveness that's beyond descriptive words. And the identity doesn't like that transition one bit, but even its fear of that is seen, and that then will dissolve too. That making sense for you, Nicole?
Yes. Thank you.
Good. Anybody? Anything else on that? So, if there's nothing immediate, what I was going to go on to say before Nicole popped her hand up there was, so it was a few years ago now, somebody was struggling, shall we say, with their kind of spiritual journey, and was kind of asking the question that the identity asks. How long is this going to take? When's it going to happen? All this kind of stuff. And the insight that came to me for her was this: time. Throw away that weapon. Time. Throw away that weapon, because that's what typically we do in the human experience. We, rather than embracing the experience of time, we use it as a weapon against ourselves. You know, there's deadlines. There's, I haven't enough time to meditate today. There isn't enough time for this. Or even you're trying to kill time on another occasion. And so, and on the path of self-realization, when we're focusing on time and the when and the if and all that kind of stuff, then that's taking away from what's here now, because the awareness never goes anywhere. So the invitation is to embrace the gift of time, because ultimately it's a gift, because without time there's no experience, and there wouldn't be the experience of the realization of the self either. But then we transcend time and we're just here now as the unchanging awareness. The unchanging awareness. All making sense, folk. So the question will come, you know, then we experience the passage of time. It appears to be a linear process. So close your eyes now again. And asking the question inside, who or what is aware of the passage of time? Who or what is aware of events? Who am I without events? Good. So I think David's got something to share. Do you want to go, David?
So there's silence, and there's also a frustration. So if I observe a clock ticking and the second hand ticking, there's observation of. Is it fair to say that there's that awareness is observing an activity in consciousness?
Is it fair to say
that I, awareness, am observing time and space that is like an activity or an expression of awareness?
Yeah, you could say that. So there's an element of that that can watch the clock ticking round, and there's a kind of personal element to that. And the reason I did the exercise the way I did was, I then said, who am I without events? Because events are time-based. And did you get anything there?
Nothing. And the answer is always no thing.
No thing. Good.
Yeah.
No thing is unlimited, unbound. Things are time-bound and limited, and no thing is unbound and beyond or before time. It's infinite. No thing equals infinite.
I think something's blowing here because I'm trying to, I don't know this. I'm trying to make sense of if there is ultimately no time.
Yeah.
How can we see a clock ticking?
So it's all here now.
Uh-huh.
Okay, like in the Flickr book, or a universal sized library where every event, every experience is already there, and you're focusing in on, like in a movie, like this video runs at, I don't know how many frames a second it runs at, it might be 30 or 60, but essentially a movie is just a series of stills run very fast, so fast that your eyes can't detect the change from one frame to the next. Now put that on a universal scale with all of it here now, then you get the infinite. Like that. But your mind won't be able to comprehend it. You won't get there from the mind. But there's a knowing that says no thing. Now, the analogy I was going to go on to, I'll go on to it now for because it's kind of pertinent to where you are, we're experiencing here. So everybody's heard of black holes, I guess. There's a bit of science that now says there's a black hole at the center of every galaxy. And there's a thing associated with black holes, you might have heard of it. It's called, in physics, it's called the event horizon. The event horizon. Now what the event horizon is that there's a point, because the black hole is so heavy, so dense, that eventually you get so close to the black hole that everything, including light, falls into the black hole. But interestingly also, it has what we would consider from the mind some weird effects with relation to time, because as you cross the event horizon, nothing escapes and time stops. And self-realization is like crossing the event horizon of a black hole. It's just now, always now. And eventually there's a space of awareness that is beyond time, beyond form, beyond being, beyond the body-mind experience, beyond all phenomena. And that's the infinite silence, or the infinite awareness that's not personal. And in that spaceless space, infinite essence, there are no events happening. There's no thing there. And it's that, the non-personal element, the non-personal essence, in front of which or within which it creates the experience of itself by the creation of the experience of time, space, form, being, and then individual expression. But it's none of it is separate from the other parts. It's all one unified whole. So the reason for the exploration of kind of that which is before and beyond time is to take you beyond mind, which is also time bound, into awareness, which is totally unlimited, across the event horizon. How you doing, David?
Just absolute silence. Yeah.
Good. Good. So the absolute silence. And then within which this form of David appears. So rest with that, in that, through that, as that silence. Nothing you have to do. And then a phrase I got in meditation the other week connected with this. It comes to the point where one is unaffected by the clocks of the horizon or the event horizon. So things happen in time, events happen, which typically in the human experience cause trauma, stress, grief, suffering. But the awareness itself is unaffected by the clocks of the horizon. unaffected by time, unaffected by events. Always whole and complete, still silent. And that's what this journey is about, is realizing that. And so we then get to have our cake and eat it, so to speak, because there's the experience of the human form is here, but the awareness is ever present. Always unblemished and unmoved and still and silent. Anything else for you, David?
No, thank you. There's nothing here.
Indeed. Yeah, and this nothing or no thing is infinite. I'll use words like silence, infinite silence, awareness, source, essence for it, but those are just pointings. Yeah. Good. Is that okay for you then, yeah?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. How about anybody else? You're all resting in silence. As silence. Andrea.
Yeah, I think I've still got the human side of me going.
Right.
The very first meditation, when you said we were with the ocean and
Yeah.
we're infinite, my brain went, yeah, but there's noise. Just think the noise everything is making. And it came to me that, yeah, I can be silent and there can be noise. But then if I actually go deeper in the ocean and deeper within and take that to be as myself and just go within and within, you get to a point of the infinite. And this bit about having this ultimate silence, I keep thinking, why are we here? I keep having that. Why are we here if this is the ultimate?
If the silence is the ultimate, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that diving deeper that you were pointing at, there comes a point when there's enough surrendering to that, acceptance of that, the dive has gone infinitely deep. Then there's a point that's, I use the word reached, realized that there are no phenomena there, and at that point, if you like, there won't be an identification with the form of Andrea. There won't be an awareness of the body of Andrea. There'll just be infinite silence, awareness that's aware of itself as that. But that is not, ultimately, that's not separate from the form of Andrea. And because I've said there's no time there, no phenomena there, no space there, this becomes capital S self-evident as that's recognized, realized. nothing's happening, and so there's no experience, there's no experience, no phenomena there. And it's like the universe, the silence, the essence is making a choice. And it goes, oh, I wonder what it'd be like to be like Andrea. There's a kind of like an I thought arises, and that becomes manifest in the form of Andrea. And it goes on this journey of separation, becomes a belief that that's all Andrea is, one of these points of light. And then the question comes up, your question, why am I here? What am I doing here? And the ultimate answer to that is to realize that you are this bit, or the totality of that is the infinite silence. So it's the way in which the universe comes to know itself in its own experience. And it does that in infinite variety. For without the expression of being, form, silence, that is called the triality of consciousness, there wouldn't be any experience whatsoever. So you have to have those three components. In Christianity, it would be called God, Spirit, Son, which is a bit of a misunderstanding or mistranslation. We can swap the word God for infinite silence, Spirit for spheres of light or pure being, the pure state I am, and Son for human form. That's what the triality of consciousness is, and it's all one. So why are you here? It's to realize experientially you are that, and that's life's purpose and meaning wrapped up into one. I have a live stream replay available on Insight Timer, which is called Life, Purpose and Meaning. Life, Purpose and Meaning. And that question that you just raised there is explored in an experiential journey there in much greater depth than we've got time for now.
Yeah, thank you.
So have a have a listen to that. It's profound. There's a few people on here that have experienced it. Yeah. So why am I here? Is to realize this. That's purpose and meaning wrapped into one. Does that help you, Andrea?
It does, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Because basically what happens is you go on this journey, you go out towards the point of light, you become the point, or you think you're at the point of light. You suffer, basically, and the role of suffering is to eventually get you to the point where there must be more to life than this. There must be more to life. Who am I? Why am I here? What is the meaning of life? What is my purpose? And then the inquiry begins. Like that. Making sense?
It is, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So that's the role of suffering. You kind of get to the point where the identity's had enough of it. And so we can take the invitation earlier and meditate, awareness-based meditation, infinite silence meditation, in other words, and inquire, who am I? Or who or what am I? And if we take that invitation, the road becomes easier. You're still going to have to face your stuff, because there's an emotional pain body that's been built up. But the other route, if you like, of ignoring the inquiry, not bothering to meditate, and what have you, is a really very rocky road, as we see in evidence around the world today with all the issues that people have with mental health and so forth. It's not wrong or right, but it's a very rocky road. So the reason that realized beings for millennia have said meditate and inquire is because it makes the journey easier. All making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we lost somebody there, did we? I'm not sure. We did a bit of... I think, well, Ruth had to go early, that was it. She said there was the time change. Yeah. So anything for anybody else here? It's all profound stuff, this, isn't it? But that's the nature of the beast. Not that it's a beast, but you know what I mean. Yeah. You're here for this. No small reason for your form being here. The universe doesn't do small. It does infinite. And it does it in infinite variety. So whilst sometimes you see these things like I'm just this little dot on this planet, well, at one level, yes, from the body-mind experience, that's true, but actually, the truth of the matter is that you're the one that's aware of it, and one with the source of it. So are you ready for this? Close your eyes and see what your heart says. Just do that now. Who am I? Without or before time. beyond the event horizon. Good. So whenever the moment's right for you, just gently opening your eyes. Good. So anything for anybody? Tara?
I'd just like to share that I just feel very calm in the stillness. And even from the very first question, it was like, I felt, because I was quite tired and wasn't feeling that well, that when the question came, it just came and it went, and there was no need to answer it. But I also noticed that, talking about time, at one point I would have tried to jump in and find an answer, or even be a bit fretful with no time. And none of that has been here tonight. It's just been really calm. And then when the second question came about, who are you without events, it was almost like I was in the stillness, and then the question came, and it was like the question itself was an event.
Yeah.
But I didn't need to respond to it. It was a kind of just aware that the question had come, and then the question went. So yeah, so it feels quite a restful kind of, almost like just letting the session flow through me. So I don't really need to respond to it, but I kind of wanted to share it so that I can kind of anchor it and acknowledge it, I suppose. So
Good.
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So the events flowed through you. I think that was the phrase you used.
Yeah.
And there was no analysis or attachment.
Yeah. There was just a kind of being in the space, and it was just allowing it to flow through.
Yeah.
But with not an urge to find the right answer or an answer, you know, just to kind of let it be. And
Yes.
yeah, almost like that the mind was almost switched off in that
Good.
sense.
Yeah.
So
It sounded like it was switched off to me.
yeah,
From what
but
you
I was
described.
awake, and
So there was an awakening. So the mind was still, and the mind is only still when there's no identification with it. And so then the events flow in front of or within awareness. And they're neither good nor bad. They just flow. To use the language you used, yeah?
Yeah, because I also felt like I feel quite tired and a little bit unwell. And it was kind of like, but as soon as I closed my eyes in the silence and the stillness, it was like that was there, but it wasn't a big part of what was there. It was kind of in amongst, but the stillness was kind of was like the main space that I felt around me.
Yeah. So that appeared, the tiredness or whatever it was that was there before, kind of took a back step.
Yeah. Because I wasn't the tiredness.
Correct.
And in that space it just kind of faded away. And I actually feel quite energized now.
Perfect. So there you go.
In that brief time.
So the one that was tired was the identity, and the one that was aware of it, and the tiredness simply dissolved away because identity dropped. Great, that's perfect. I love that. Everybody follow that. See, this is what happens when one associates with the stillness, the silence, the silent witness, or the infinite silence. All phenomena are vibrations, and left alone, just like this tingsha bell I'm going to ting here now. Without any further input, it faded to silence. So identity does this and creates a cacophony. But when you realize you're the awareness and not the identity, the noise falls away. Because you're not buying its bargain basement offers. I'll give you 20 thoughts for the price of a dozen. Makes sense. Is that okay for you, Tara? Is there anything else you wanted to?
No, that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it was almost like it might have gone now, but yeah. So even the thoughts are vibration, even though you've not said them out loud.
Yeah.
They are a vibration.
They are.
Just as what we say is and what we do is. Yeah. So, and we don't often think of our thoughts being a vibration. So then it kind of explained that when I was in that space, the question came as a vibration. And then because I didn't respond to it, I just stayed in the stillness and the question just disappeared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Thanks.
So there's a piece that I've shared on a number of streams that as most of you have probably heard, which relates directly to what Tara has just been saying. And it goes like this: who am I? The question dissolves the questioner, and the self is realized. Who am I? The question dissolves the questioner, and the self is realized. So that relates directly to what Tara was saying, was this identity self dissolves, and the capital S self as infinite, silent, infinite awareness is realized. We won't get to peace and realization through the mind. It's the allowing the awareness to come front and center stage that brings the peace. Like the sliver of ice melts in the ocean, the tingsha bells fade to silence. I call this effortless grace. All of the meditation practice, all of the inquiry is to get one to the place where it becomes effortless. You transcend the practice. And it becomes practiceless, becomes effortless, filled with silence. All good? Like this. Like this. So we're coming up to 10 past, we're over the hour. Is there anything burning for anybody? Or are we all good for now? Looks like we're all good for now. So hopefully we'll get this sorted a bit quicker in terms of an edit. For those that had to leave early or whatever, or couldn't join tonight, we'll get them the link. We had a few technical hitches last time, but that's been sorted now. So hopefully it should be a lot quicker turnaround. The next one of these is scheduled for, it's the second Thursday of the month. I think is that the 11th of April? I can't remember what date it is, but anyway, it's the second Thursday. By that time, all the clocks around the world should have aligned in terms of going forwards and backwards or whatever it is that they're doing, depending whether you're in the northern or the southern hemisphere. So hopefully everybody won't be caught out by that one next time. And be interesting to know next time, don't need to answer this now, whether you want these monthly calls to continue or not. All good, everybody? Be still and know. Who am I without time? Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much, and have a look out for last time's recording as well on the link I sent out in the email. Bye now.